So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Hello on Instagram for following us live. And thank you, Mrs. H. I've been told not to say Mrs. Sarita Handa, so I'm going to say Mrs. H. I don't think I need to introduce you since we are in a store with your name on it. But I want to take a moment and say thank you for giving us this time, because this is a memory that we're all going to have for the rest of our life. You are a legend, and it is a pleasure to be with you and ask you questions.
Sure. I'm all set for your questions.
Yes. So we've done a mock interview of this already. So Mrs. H knows what's coming. But let's rewind a little bit. You started the business in 1992.
Yeah, that's right.
And by 1994, you were already in Bloomingdale's. Without internet, Google, email, without any of that. Where did you get the confidence and the gumption and the drive to do that? That's a huge jump.
I don't know. I think just my confidence and my faith in my own self. And it was easy. I don't think it was a struggle. Trust me. I didn't miss the Google. I still don't Google that much.
Still don't.
So it just happened. I knew what I wanted. And
you knew from the get-go that you want to go abroad. You didn't want to
that was
diversify
very clear
in
my
India.
mind that I wanted to. Actually, if you ask me, I only knew that I want a small portfolio, which I can carry myself in my own bag and carry it personally and open it there, and I'm not embarrassed how, so everything had to be coordinated. So it was very simple. I didn't carry too much. And it was easier for me in the US than anywhere else.
How come? How come it was easier in the US than...
I think, especially in the East Coast, that's New York for me, is I could walk in any place. You can call it a bit of luck, which was difficult happening here. And those days, I think there were not very, how should I put it, structured retail ventures here where I could go and sell.
Right.
I didn't have the money to set up on my own at that time.
Right.
So you needed to survive. And I didn't want to work under anybody. I was very clear that this is what I want. It was a small line, went there, met a few people, and there was no looking back.
And you were a one-woman army with your sample bag going place to place to show?
To start with, yes. In 1992, when I started, my husband was there. He was a discipline also. He kept me in line, in discipline. So it was I think the only big challenge that we had was raising the money.
Right.
That was the challenge. But otherwise, I don't think I had any, I don't know how to say, it was easy going.
And then your daughter joined you. So that must have been easier also.
See, the daughter also, she was on a vacation in London with her sister, and one of our mutual friends, he met her and he said, I think you should go back. They've sponsored your education. Go back and help them. They need you. And that was the turn back in her life. And she said, okay, I'm coming back, Mom, and I'm going to come and help you. So that was, and she's actually running the business now.
So you wear two hats then. You are the mom and at that time maybe more of a boss. So how do you balance those roles then?
That's it. So my husband was there, my girl was there, her husband's there too now.
Right.
See, I'll tell you, people say Indian women, and I'm going back a little bit. Everybody has a perceived value that Indian women, especially in our age, we were not that educated. We didn't have so many options.
Yeah.
And people thought that, how could they do it? The thing is that if you can manage and balance your relationships at home, when a girl gets married, she doesn't marry only the man, she walks into a family.
Right.
And just to establish, that's the first lesson in business management. Because if you can learn to deal with people, 50% of your job is done. You don't have to worry about it. So I think you manage, and all Indian women are good at it.
So is that a quality you look for when you're hiring in the company?
I look for people who have a fire in their belly.
Right.
So if you have that, you're going to succeed, no matter who you are, what you are.
So now, do you feel that you want to have stores in the US, or because I think 90% of the business is export oriented, but there are no Sarita Handa stores outside India.
You need money to do that, don't you? Yes. Very simple answer. So I'm ambitious, but at the same time, I think you have to look at balance things in life. And yes, when the right opportunity comes, it'll happen, definitely.
So that is the aim. You want to have your
I don't know if it'll happen in my lifetime or not, but it should happen.
Yeah. So Mrs. Handa has launched another vertical called Sarita Handa Now, which is Japandi interiors. It's a mix of Scandinavian interiors with Japanese interiors. And I want to know what caused this new vertical, because it's a very different look than what we see in this store.
So it's during COVID, everybody had a lot of time to reflect back on their lives. More than me, I think it was the team and my daughter, and all of them thought that we should come up with something new to keep the momentum going. Yeah. And they wanted to open a store. So they started talking to me. And at the same time, I was building a new house for myself. So it's interesting. We were not talking to each other. We were, those days you couldn't meet people. I couldn't meet my family. And so they felt thoughts separately, and I was thinking, while I was doing the house, they came up with this whole idea. So I said, why not? Because I was doing a more modern, contemporary apartment. Right. Whereas they were thinking of a new store. So I always say that was Sarita Handa then, and it's Sarita Handa now. So we named it Sarita Handa now.
And what is Sarita Handa then, and what is Sarita Handa now? How have you evolved?
That was a very, the old, we call it the legacy store. This is all. So it's very global chic, more eclectic, more color, and if you can see, there's embroidery. It's a different look altogether, and it does have a younger vibe. So like found pieces, memories of your travel, pieces put together. And now I think I had evolved, and I wanted a more calmer house, more contemporary, more like I would say quiet luxury, or that way, understated. So that is the whole difference. That minimalist, it's minimalistic, but not, still has warmth. I think sometimes too modern gets cold.
The thing that sticks out to me is your quiet luxury. Having a Sarita Handa piece in your house is quiet luxury.
Understated. You could be wearing a rock, but it shouldn't look what you're wearing.
Yes. So any regrets, ma'am? You've done so much. Any regrets?
No regrets. Why would I have regrets? I think I'm very happy. I have a great family, all of you. And I'm, meeting young people keeps me energized. And that's what keeps me going. So I'm not, no regrets. I have no regrets.
I was thinking, as an entrepreneur, you must have seen some very high highs and low lows, right? Everyone has that. So what has kept you going through all of it?
I think, each life has highs and lows.
Right.
You have to flow with it. And you have to come up stronger with all, now that you said it, it just came back to me. We were not even 10 years down the line in our business, and my husband was my big support. But he suddenly passed away overnight. I mean, it was such a shock. But then you pull up yourself, you say, life doesn't stop for anybody, even the best, even the most loved one that you have. So the challenge is continue and create a vibe for yourself and live it for the moment.
Yeah.
So life goes on.
You make it sound so simple, but I'm sure at that time it must have been very challenging.
You have to make it simple to look, go through with it.
Yeah.
Life is fun. It has to be lived every moment.
You were telling me a story earlier about how an entire container of yours got rejected because of fly droppings.
Yes.
How do you deal with situations? It's very high stress, high anxiety situations.
I think I've gotten used to dealing with stress. I don't take anything personal. It is there, you'll overcome. At the end of the day, what will happen? Some money would be lost, but as long as you ship right and you give the right quality product to your client, whether it's your single client or your export client with $1 million, you still have to give your best. And if you do that, the client will come back. And When the client comes back or the customer comes, that's when you've achieved your success.
Right. I feel so much calmer talking to Mrs. Handa, right? You just feel like everything will work itself out. Don't worry. That's the vibe I'm getting.
It will, trust me, it will.
So I want to know, what is your daily routine like then? Or what was it then when you started, and what is it now?
Then when I started, it was 24/7 work.
Obsession with work.
Obsession. Eat, drink, sleep. It's only your work.
Did you take holidays?
No, not first. The last holiday was with my husband before he passed away.
After that, you haven't taken holidays?
No, after that, now I take enough holidays. To me, this is a break. This is a holiday. Somebody said, are you stressed? I said, no. So I said, it's fun. I'm away from the factory, so it's fun.
Yeah. And what has been your biggest inspiration?
My biggest inspiration is a lot of young women like you. I draw energy from talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's you know, I wish I could reverse my age and go back to being young, but it doesn't happen. So I look at your faces and I feel so happy that each one of you is working towards your own goals.
And I feel you've always been ahead of your time, Mrs. Handa. I feel when you started out, you were always pro Make in India before it became, vocal for local, before it became a thing. And you've always hired a lot of women. I think women empowerment from 1994 was important to you before it was a conversation now.
First of all, let me congratulate you. You've done a lot of homework on us.
Yes. I know your numbers very well.
No, so you've done a lot of homework on us. And the words that you're choosing are my words.
Yes.
Women empowerment, it's again. So it's a joke in our family. Sarita Handa, exports, that's the main. So it becomes, if you take away everything, it's she. So my husband used to joke, where is me in this? So I would say take away, it's the H in the center is you, the center of our life is you. So it's women empowerment, I think is so important, and that's part of our charter.
Yeah. So how do you, like you said, you have only women in your family. You have 2 daughters. They both have
my
2
daughters
daughters
each.
each.
Girls, I have 2 girls, and both my girls have 2 girls. So it's a women empowerment.
Right. So how do you, we all have daughters, we're sisters, we're mothers. What do you tell them in terms of balancing work and kids and family and social life and everything?
I think, don't you think we are blessed and lucky that we have emotional support and family support in India? I see people, I travel so much, and when I go and see working mothers, I realize how tough their life is. They have to, the best of environment, so much money, but they come home, they cook, they take care of their kids and do everything. But here we have our family support, so I think it makes it easier for us.
100%. It's a struggle, I feel, living abroad, especially if you have kids. India's the place to be.
It's the place to be, yes, definitely.
And what is the future of Sarita Handa? How would you like to see it grow?
So the reason why I named it Sarita Handa was that it will continue whether I'm there or not. It doesn't have to be my family. If they are capable and they can run it, please go ahead and do it. If you are not capable, then give it to the professionals to run it.
That was my next question. Are you okay with professionalizing your company, or you want it to be a family legacy that you continue?
If need be, they can, it's their choice.
Okay.
I wanted to do it for myself. I don't think I did it, that my kids are going to take over from me.
So I had opened up my Instagram page and asked a lot of people what they would like to ask you. And I showed you, I have printouts and printouts of questions. But I'm going to ask you one because this kept coming up. And everyone wants to know about sustainability. And to be honest, I kept thinking this is a marketing word, right, that people use. But because I would say 25% of the messages were about sustainability, I realized that there's a genuine interest in this. So what is your take on this?
I'll tell you, for us in India, sustainability has many different aspects to it, angles to it. For me, sustainability is also that we do a lot of handwork. And part of our charter is that 38 or 39% has to be hand of the artisan.
Oh.
So we do a lot of hand quilting. You don't see that product here so much, but it's part of our exports a lot. So we do a lot of hand quilting. And when you hire a woman or a woman who's given work at home, she takes it from us, goes home and works in her own house, you're actually giving her income to raise her family and educate her kids. So that to me is also part of sustainability, because you're giving her sustenance, and that takes the society, and especially if we can empower a woman, we can achieve a lot in our country. So I think that to me is also part of sustainability. The other thing is that we are doing a lot of fabrics, recycled, organic. Some of it you feel sometimes, but when you get into it, like, there's so many things. How do I'm not even prepared this. So, like using gas for your factories, solar, you are different kinds of yarns, recycling, avoiding plastic, your packaging. There are lots of things. I'm not an expert on it, but I know we are doing a lot.
You're doing a lot.
Yeah.
And something I read online is you adopted a village, in I think 1994, 1995. You adopted a village and you taught the women in that village craftsmanship and some artisanal work, and then you hired them into your factory.
So it's hand quilting. So what we did was, and we're doing it again, still we don't talk that much. So it was a village called Tughlakabad village in Delhi. On the now it's of course very much a part of. So we went there. We got them framed so that they could sit across. 4 ladies could sit, or 2 ladies, and they would do hand quilting.
Wow.
You have a hand quilting piece here. I'll show it to you. So they would do hand quilting, and that's how the work. That was the beginning of Sarita Handa, actually.
Isn't that amazing vision to do this when you started out and you adopt a village and then you reach Bloomingdale's? You've lived
all about
it.
of hand, and it's also, remember this, when you don't have too much money to start a business. So it was a very small place, and we would work out of this. We would do everything there, and then we would go to the village and teach them how to do it.
Right.
And it was good fun.
I think that's amazing. Does anyone have any questions? Please feel free to ask. I can keep going on, but I just want to make sure that we cover all the questions.
What drives us that you travel a lot, you do a lot of research. There are lots of people who are doing, I don't do everything myself. So there are a lot of people who do research on the customer, what they want, what their needs are, then look at how we can do it. So it's a constant process which keeps going. And my inspiration, of course, comes from anywhere, everywhere.
Is this why you have no competitors?
I
feel in your niche
I'll tell you
there's
what,
no
I have
competition.
To say, I always said, I don't compete with others. I compete with myself. Excel from where you left it and take it. Why look at others? Look at yourself and compete with yourself.
Yeah, it's in 30 years, no one else has been able to do what you have done.
I'm sure there are many people. Everybody is doing a lot of work. I don't think that. No.
And there's a niche that has just been carved out by you.
You're being very kind, but there are lots of people who are doing great work. So first of all, I think, like I said, when I started my own business, my kids had grown up, but I was working before that. So yes, I've never said this, but my elder daughter was not very happy with my working. So it was a difficult time to kind of convince her, and she wanted my time. So that period was challenging. But I think my mother made it up for that. She was always there for me, and my husband was a very caring and loving father. So I think that's how we could balance. But it is tough when you look at it, and I think my relationship today has become much better with her. And she now realizes why I had to work. At that time, she was angry. She was an angry young girl. So, different stages, different inspirations. There are so many people who, I'm just trying to think. So earlier initially my inspiration actually came from my saris. So I was very inspired by how we have so many different, every state you go to, there's a different kind. And that weaver is uneducated, he doesn't know. But if you see the ikat, it's so scientific, it's all, you go to Kanjipuram, your silks, it's how much work goes into it. So that was my, even today, I go and look at the saris to get more ideas. I think our country is amazing in terms of inspiration for textiles. Then look at, like I've been now traveling, I went to see Dior Foundation, and you guys all must have seen they had the fashion show.
Sure, yeah.
So much work was done in India, but nobody gave credit to India at that time. I was super impressed when I saw the studio and I looked at so much hand embroidery. Spain has a lot of hand embroideries. So different countries, different places, every country gives you a lot of inspiration.
Is it easy finding artisans though? Because I feel every time an artisan family would make money, their child may not want to be an artisan anymore. So you lose
you're losing that.
The craft.
You're losing the craft because everybody wants, it's digital India, so they want white collar jobs. They don't want to be a tailor, or they don't want to be that's why I said training is so important.
Right.
So if you could train more people, they would come back to this.
Come back to the craft.
Yeah. So I'll tell you very simple. I had one basic funda for myself, made in India, but it should not look like made in, it should not be ethnic. I want to do a contemporary product which is from India, but it can go and sit in their American homes and feel like them. That was very clear in my mind. The other thing is, like I, being an army wife, I traveled a lot, so I knew where exactly what kind of fabric was being woven. And my saris was my greatest inspiration. So that's where my inspiration for textiles came from. Even today I buy saris. Like there's no, whether I wear it or not, they can lie in my closet. That's my source of inspiration.
Your dressing sense has changed, no? From then
Absolutely.
to now.
So that's why Sarita Handa and Sarita Handa
now. Yeah. What did you, what is the quality you're looking for then? I know you said fire in the belly. Is that it? Is that really just it?
Fire is definitely my number one caution, because if you don't have it, then you're not going to succeed.
Yeah.
And I can't work with them. Then I may be okay. You can stay in the organization, but you have to work with other people, not with me. I need the josh.
Right.
If you don't have the josh, then many se ka sakti could be.
Yeah. It's been more than 30 years and you still have the josh. We can
definitely.
See. Yeah.
I do.
Are you ready to let go at any point?
I've given it to my daughter, so let go, yes.
Fully
but I can
walk
do
away from the company, 100%. Like totally
no,
let go, maybe.
100%. I'll tell you no. No, I said no. I said no myself. I'll tell you why. It's not that they can't do it, or it's not that I don't want to let it go. I want to hold on to it because it keeps me going. If I give it up, then trust me, I live by myself. And what will I do? My routine is with my work.
Right.
My life is my work. So I don't go there because I think nobody can survive without me. I go there because to survive myself.
It gives you purpose.
Yeah,
now.
it gives me a purpose. Oh my God.
Great question. Between you and your daughter, how do you resolve issues?
So,
Because you're the mother and the boss.
oh my God. No, first of all, we have a great relationship. Both my girls love me and I love both the girls. And it's a very strong bonding. But there are times when we disagree, like when we are talking to, we can find it in each other's voice. She's upset or I'm upset. So I keep away from her. And then later she'll come back and talk to me. But we also worked as a family with getting people to train us how to deal with each other. It's something, family businesses are not easy. Because, and like I said, I have my daughters, but I also have my son-in-law in the business. And this, where we are sitting is actually, he's head of this retail. So it's a tough situation, but we had people from outside to coach us, and we are still going through that coaching, and it's, trust me, it's made a huge difference. I feel I've changed because each one has to be correct in how to say. You have to say the unpleasant with a smile on your face, and you have to learn to appreciate the other person's point of view also. So we do have, that's part of family businesses.
So you actively went and said, let's find a way of how to deal with a family business. Because no one, I don't know anyone who's done that.
No, there are lots of people now. So it happened, there's a company called Landmark. It's a public forum, and they have a corporate arm called Banto, which is a Seattle-based 150-year-old company.
Okay.
So Rahul's dad, that means my son-in-law's father, he went to Landmark, and he came back and he told Rahul to do it. And Rahul asked, and they both asked Suparna to do it. And then Suparna came to me, Mom, they have a corporate arm, we should do it. I said, I'm not doing it. I've lived my life. What improvement? You guys need improvement. I don't need it. That was my reaction to it. But then she said, okay, just do a 20-minute Zoom call with the coach. And so we did that 20-minute, and I was sold on it. So we have every, I think, second, third month, the core 31 people of our company with the coach, and then we have one day for the 4 of us separately.
Wow, isn't it very progressive? I feel this is a great idea.
It's helped us a lot.
Yeah, I feel a lot of family businesses would benefit from this.
I'm sure they must be doing it. Maybe they don't talk about it, but everybody would be probably. It is, I don't know, others have acknowledged it or not, but I think it's the toughest thing to be in a family business.
Right, how do you manage emotions in business?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this has been eye-opening and inspiring and a memory in itself for all of us. I'm going to wrap it up and say thank you so much. I know you don't give too many interviews, so this is really an honor that you sat down with us, all of us, and decided to do this. We're walking away with a lot of knowledge, and I can't stop using the word, but a lot of inspiration, because we're all entrepreneurs in our own right. And it's nice to know that you have gone through it and reached this level. So even 5 years from now or 10 years from now, when we have that moment of weakness, it's okay, just keep going. She's done it. It's a proven law. Just keep going. So I think that is my biggest takeaway from this.
I can tell you there's a sparkle in each one of you. So I'm sure you're going to all succeed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you.
A very big hug. Thank you so much for doing this.